here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Monday, July 21st here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Ki-hoon.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And Dong-hyuk's also with us.
Glad to be here.
And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's Monday, and as we kick off another work week, we're taking a moment to shine a light on an important yet often overlooked topic. Just 1 week ago, South Korea marked North Korean Defectors Day, a day dedicated to recognizing the journey and resilience of those who made the difficult decision to leave the North and start anew here in the South. So to commemorate the occasion, we're joined by a very special guest who brings insight into this experience. So could you start by introducing yourself to our viewers?
Oh, sure. Hello, Soo-jin. Thanks for inviting me here. Great to be back. My name is Dong-hyuk, and I am a researcher at Sejong Institute, a think tank that researches foreign affairs and security issues and how those issues impact the Korean Peninsula. I also serve on the Policy Advisory Board at the Ministry of Unification.
So we look forward to hearing from you today about the insights you've gained through your research. So Ki-hoon, North Korean Defectors Day might be unfamiliar to some. Could you explain what this day is about?
Sure thing. So last Monday, which was July 14th, was North Korean Defectors Day, an official commemorative day observed here in South Korea. The South Korean government established this day last year to help people meaningfully embrace the slogan, North Korean defectors are beginning the North Korean defectors are the beginning of reunification, and to raise national awareness and support the integration of North Korean defectors into South Korean society. July 14 was chosen because it marks the date in 1997 when the Act on Protection and Settlement Support of North Korean Refugees was first enacted, symbolizing the beginning of institutional support.
So it sounds like what this act does is to provide kind of legal framework for the protection, verification, as well as settlement support of North Korean defectors. So with that context in mind, it's worth taking a closer look at the reality. So Ki-hoon, how many people have defected to South Korea so far, and what does the current situation look like in terms of numbers or trends?
So in 2025, between January and March, a total of 38 North Korean defectors defected to South, more than half of them in their 20s and 30s. Last year, 236 defectors arrived, marking a 20% increase compared to the previous year. Now, during the 2010s, the number of annual arrivals had remained in the thousands, but dropped to the 200s in 2020 due to the spread of COVID-19. Furthermore, the relatively higher proportion of female North Korean defectors is attributed to several factors. One reason is that men are subject to stricter control and surveillance than women within North Korea. Additionally, women are considered to have an advantage in hiding their identity as defectors in foreign countries like China. And another reason is that North Korea has a strongly organization-based society, and men tend to have a stronger sense of affiliation and loyalty to these organizations than women, making them less likely to defect to the South.
It's quite notable that the majority of defectors are actually women, and it kind of suggests that gender-based differences that impact, have an influence on social mobility and organizational ties as well. And Dong-hyuk, for those who do manage to make it to South Korea, what routes are they taking to get here? Given the risks involved, I think many of our viewers will be curious to learn about the most common routes or methods that defectors are using today.
Sure. In recent years, most defectors arriving in South Korea are not the people who fled North Korea recently. Rather, they're individuals who have left the country a few years ago and have been living in countries like China, Laos, Thailand, and other third countries. And they often have no legal status and stable conditions. It's mainly due to the advanced surveillance system built in China-North Korea border, the facial recognition system, and higher resolution cameras, and that makes the traditional routes of crossing Yalu and Tumen River more difficult. However, there are rare and exceptional cases that sometimes happen that North Koreans directly travel to South Korea through DMZ, EC, Yellow Sea. Yeah.
It's quite interesting and kind of unexpected that they're not coming directly to Korea. Instead, they're spending years in like third countries, like you mentioned. So we've also seen a rise in defectors in their 20s and 30s. And what stands out about this younger generation? Are there any common traits or values they tend to share, Tong-yeon?
Sure. North Korean born after 1980 are often referred as 장마당 Generation. They have experienced the collapse of their country's economy and the subsequent famine called the Arduous March. And during their fathers and mothers, the earlier generation, have depended on the state's distribution system, but this generation survived through informal market called 장마당, trading, working, and whatever it takes for them to earn money there. And this formative experience shaped their value of self-reliance rather than believing and depending on the state ideology. So while they may outwardly seem to conform to the regime, but sometimes they make incredible individual bold decisions for their prosperity and survival. We see they are the new driving force of North Korea's informal market, and we see this trend and traits in the young generation of defectors coming to Korea.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that these 장마당s are predominantly run by women, which also kind of ties with what Kyun said earlier because they're less under surveillance. So this is kind of interesting how the role that women are also playing in this. So once defectors arrive in South Korea, Kyun, what kind of support and systems are in place to help them adjust? And overall, how satisfied are they with their life here, both in terms of practical support and their sense of belonging?
North Korean defectors who enter South Korea undergo an investigation at a protection center, and once granted protection status, they receive 3 months of education at Hanawon, an affiliated organization of the Ministry of Unification. And at Hanawon, they receive training in financial literacy, Korean language, and job skills to help them adapt to life here in South Korea. And after completing the program, they're provided with rental housing and receive support for 5 years to help them build an independent life. Fortunately, according to a survey released last year, satisfaction with life in South Korea has been steadily increasing. And to give our viewers more detail, let's take a look at the screen. So life satisfaction of North Korean refugees in South Korea has been steadily increasing over the years, being 74% back in 2017, increasing to 80% in 2025, and this is according to Korea Hana Foundation. And the reasons included freedom, economic stability, and income. Wages have continued to increase, narrowing the gap with the general South Korean population compared to the previous year, and the proportion of defectors with more than 3 years of continuous employment was also the highest. And this is quite interesting because many youngsters here, like South Korean youngsters, their employment retention rate is not that high, and they actually seek new jobs within a year or two. But seeing that North Korean defectors actually stay at a single job for at least 3 years is a very positive sign for the Korean job market as well.
That really puts things into perspective, but of course starting over in a completely new environment isn't without its difficulties. Tong-yeon, what are some of the most common challenges defectors face as they try to build a new life here, and what kind of support do you think is most needed to help them adapt in the long term?
Sure, I'd like to answer this question in 2 parts, economics and what goes beyond economics. First, economically, most North Korean defectors have difficulties, and especially young people. As Kyun mentioned, the satisfactory results have been increasing over the years, which is a great sign, but that doesn't mean that core problems are gone. Ministry of Unification said that over 20% of the North Korean defectors are long-term high risk in terms of economic security. And second, beyond economics, for many defectors, emotional weight of isolation and loneliness is heavier than economic struggle. Even those seen as a success story have a hard time sharing their pain, so unable to talk about their failure or even debt. of a successful entrepreneur. There are many cases like this. So young defectors who come for a better life in South Korea, they need some kind of emotional support, friends that they can talk to, they can trust. So overcoming trauma and building a new life in South Korea, a humane, a real thing. So these kind of real human interaction is a key to not only a healing from their trauma, but integration into our society.
I think that was very well put, because people tend to just focus on kind of the economic side of it, but like you said, like true integration really comes from things that are not really part of the finances. And people, people not just in Korea also deal with feeling lonely, which is why I feel like, obviously, for obvious reasons, them coming to adjust a whole new environment means for them, they get impacted by that even more. So I think that's great that you highlighted that. And so to give a first-hand perspective, we'll be showing an interview we conducted with a North Korean defector, where she shares her personal thoughts and experiences. And this will take place right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Now we're going to hear from Jung So-yoon, who made the journey from North Korea to the South. In this video, she reflected on her experience of resettling in South Korea and shared some personal thoughts on life in both the North and South, as well as the kind of support defectors still need today. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is So-yoon Jung. I left North Korea in 1998. I came to South Korea in 2002. With 10 family members. Currently, I work as a writer and also CEO of NGO Unification. I am also preparing my doctoral dissertation in North Korean studies. I arrived in 2002. The support system then was different from today, but there are still many similarities. I was a student when I arrived, so I attended elementary and middle school in South Korea. There were after-school programs for North Korean defectors. They helped me a lot. When I went to university, I received tuition support. The government also provides housing support. North Korean defectors can live in permanent rental housing until they become economically stable. There's job counseling too. Also vocational training and job placement services. But I found employment on my own after completing my master's degree. I think young people and older people a little bit different. When I was in North Korea, there wasn't much information about South Korea, but things changed because of North Korea's economic crisis. Many people started leaving North Korea. People also began traveling to China for businesses. This opens up more ways to learn about South Korea. During my time there, I didn't know so much about South Korea. Was economically better than North Korea. I only learned this later when I went to China. I heard it through radio broadcast. Today, the situation is very different. South Korean contents has spread widely in North Korea. North Korean defectors also sent money to their families in North Korea. They also keep in touch with them. So they are telling about South Korea. So most North Koreans now know that South Korea is economically better, developed a lot. North Korean youth in their 20s and 30s are very interested about outside. Current research shows that many have watched South Korean movies. Their attitude towards unification remains very positive. I believe we need to change these kinds of thinking. North Korean defectors can play an important role in healing the trauma of division that we have. They can help restore our sense of being one people. They will serve as important bridges for our unified future. Supporting North Korean defectors isn't just a waste of money. It's not charity either. Those are people we should invest in as human resources. Our society needs them. Each of them will become resources for public diplomacy. They should be seen as assets that will make South Korea stronger in the future. Whether South Korean or North Korean defectors, I believe we need to work together. If the Republic of Korea become a place where everyone wants to live together harmoniously and happily, we will become a stronger Korea and also a Korea that can lead the world. Thank you.
So we just heard from a North Korean defector whose first-hand experiences provide us with a deeper understanding of the struggles, resilience, and hopes shared by many defectors. So to wrap up our discussion today, Kyun, what steps do we need to take to move forward towards lasting peace and reunification, and why is this so important?
I think the general society needs to become more accepting and inclusive to diversity. What we see on the news regarding North Korea can perhaps shape how we think, and most times it is politically motivated, referring to North Korea using strong words like provocation, missile threats, and so on and so forth. So our perception, especially the younger generation of North Korea, as a nation becomes framed as like a de facto nuclear state, always ready to attack our country and even other nations, including the US. However, when we get the chance to meet North Korean defectors in person, which I have actually here at Arirang, it can actually feel the same as meeting any other human being, like any other South Koreans or even foreigners you meet in Korea. So once we let our guard down and start to embrace others, I think South Korea as a country can become a more welcoming nation, not only to North Korean defectors, but other foreigners who actually seek to live here. And I like to just also mention what Tonghyuk just mentioned about looking at North Korean defectors as just human beings. They've actually traveled a long distance to come to Korea. They're alone. They don't have any friends, let alone family members, and they feel very detached emotionally. And we talk about financial things, but that's also very important. But what's more important is for them to actually feel accepted and feeling part of this society. But it seems in reality we're not there yet, accepting North Korean defectors as just any other person who is willing to live in Korea. And I think we need to really embrace that as a society. If we don't, no matter how much financial support they actually receive, like with housing and all that stuff, I don't think it will really help them to adapt to this country and for them to really live a more satisfied life here in Korea. Even though we say 80% of them are very satisfied here in Korea, I don't think that's really the case, because if you actually get to interview them and talk to them and hear all the struggles they go through, you'll be quite surprised, because those kind of things are not something that we actually experience, like not having friends, not having family members to talk to, and we sometimes take it for granted. So maybe looking at these kind of things, like the emotional, like the humane part, I think it will be able to accept more North Korean defectors moving forward.
Like you said, I think it's really important to not think of them as the other. And I think a key part of that is kind of like better understanding like their stories and how they're not so much different than us. Especially we're all Korean at the end of the day. And so really understanding them would help them kind of for us to reach true integration as well. And hopefully like media can also play a big role in this. So maybe more episodes like this or shows like this could also help raise more awareness. So what are your thoughts on this, Tong-yeon?
Sure. To wrap it up, the national level policies like this and the public engagement efforts need to be developed and it needs to evolve. But at the same time, when, just like any other policy, when support is given to one group, others feel left out. In this case, for these policies to be sustainable, and especially the defectors, especially the young future generation of defectors, I think garnering the support of South Korean youth is indispensable. So they too feel very disadvantaged in today's society. So what this means is designing a solution that South and North Korean born youth can participate equally and have some kind of mutual ownership. And although their backgrounds are different, but they also share a similar sense of social burden, problems, such as economic difficulties, housing, low birth rate in the future, now really, and the gender, generational divides, you name it. But if these common problems require joint solutions, which also requires joint effort to work together, I think it can reduce the sense of the exclusivity and also foster a sense of mutual ownership. So I think this shift in perspective can not only ease the negative perception on North Korean defectors, but also the matter of unification, and we can build some kind of partnership moving forward.
Right, like you said, like highlighting the similarities are really important, as well as I think one way to do it is to commemorate like this day as well. So are there any events that commemorate this event to highlight the new North Korean Defectors Day?
Sure, there are many events that commemorated this North Korea Defector Day, but one event that I really liked was this happened last weekend.
So
right before the North Korean Defector Day, there was a 2-day exhibition at COEX, and I went there, and there were tons of people. For 2 days, there were almost 4,000 people.
Wow.
And the exhibitions were great, and actually it was really fun, and I hope other people can go there and experience it. But not only the exhibitors and organizations that hosted it, there are tons of public that went there. Not only the North Korea background people, but also South Koreans who are interested in these issues. And for the viewers of this program, I recommend that you go there and try to meet people, and you'll be surprised how fun they are, how fun these events are, and there are more to come.
I think having a space where people can actually meet these people and get to know them is also a way to that will lead to true integration. So thank you for mentioning that as well. So days like North Korean Defectors Day remind us of all the resilience and determination of those who have made incredible journeys, as well as the ongoing challenges they face. Reminds us of the importance of awareness, support, and collective commitment as we work towards peace, unity, and a hopeful future for the Korean Peninsula. And we're also conducting a program survey which includes News Generation to better meet our viewers' expectations. So please visit us at www.arirang.com or on the Arirang TV mobile app to share your valuable feedback. And by participating, you'll also have a chance to win Bluetooth earbuds and exclusive K-pop merchandise. And this brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. A big thanks to Kyun,
Always a pleasure.
to have you, and Tong-yeon
Thank you.
for joining us today. And to all our viewers, thanks for watching, and we hope you have the best day. We are News Generation.